don't we proceed?
Yep. Okay, we are live.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Town of Somers Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. The date is April 19th, 2022. Denise, would you please take the roll of the board?
Yes. Ms. DiPolito?
Here.
Mr. Gio?
Here.
Mr. Hardin?
Here.
Mr. Lansky?
Here.
Mr. Newman?
Here.
Mr. Padavani?
Here.
Mr. Canestra? Chairman Canestra?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'd request that we do the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could put the flag back up on the screen. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of
America and
and
to the
the
republic
republic
for
which it stands,
one nation,
one nation, under
under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Before the meeting begins, I do want to make one announcement. The fifth item on the agenda this evening, that of Heritage Hills Society, that application has been withdrawn. Apparently, the golf course owner is removing their plan currently for the miniature golf course, and they are revising their plan to the planning board to exclude it. So it is no longer a matter before us. That being said, we're going to go right on to the first item on the agenda, and that is the application of Gerard Gallagher. This is an application to renew a special exception use permit as a new owner for an existing accessory apartment in a detached accessory to an existing one-family dwelling in an R80 residential district at 122 Route 139 in Somers. Is Mr. Gallagher here?
Yes. Hi.
Hello, Mr. Gallagher. Could you briefly describe your application?
I'm just looking to renew what is existing. It's a one-bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, apartment.
Okay. And has our building inspector, Tom Tuma, been out to inspect the
Yes, he was here 3 weeks ago. Yep.
Okay. And Tom is all in conformance?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Have we had any complaints to the building department regarding this apartment?
No,
Any issues with the neighbors? No? Okay.
no.
Okay.
And I have the septic system cleaning receipt.
Thank you.
Where are you?
Beat Arnie to it.
Yeah, I know, because I was going to ask him if he was aware of the Westchester County Code of having the septic pumped out every 5 years.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a routine thing for us now. You can't get in our doors without handing us that.
All right. Thank you, Denise.
You're
It could be
welcome.
an ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And sir, as far as the apartment goes, how many individuals do you expect to be living there, or?
Well, right now, I have not rented, or nobody has lived there since I acquired the property. Possibly my daughter, when she gets done at college this year, will move in.
Okay. Okay. Any further questions from the board regarding this application?
No,
Have
I'm
we
good.
checked the square footage?
I'm sorry, what was that part?
Bart, that when Tommy goes out to do an inspection, he takes the original plans that were submitted when the apartment was created to verify that absolutely nothing has changed, including the size of the apartment. And we had one instance when that did happen, but in 10 years now that I've been here, it only happened once, but Tommy does look for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe the apartments are limited to 800 square feet. That sound right?
Correct.
Yeah, some of them have been approved in excess of that in the past.
Right.
We've come across that on previous approval renewals.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'm going to take this out to the public now. Does anybody wish to comment in regard to this application? Keep in mind, this is a public meeting. Anyone who has any comments regarding this application is welcome to call. You simply call one of the numbers on the screen, then put in the Zoom meeting ID number, and you'll come right online with us.
Chairman, I do not have anybody trying to get into the meeting as of now.
So we lost Vic Canestra, the chairman, so we
Oh,
have to hang
thought
on a
something
minute.
was wrong. Yep, Denise, I didn't have anybody trying to zoom in, just an FYI.
Yep, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry, everybody. I just need to let him get back in. Well, I'm going to say this out loud to all the applicants while we're waiting. Obviously, as long as your application gets approved, I will be back in touch at a later date with a resolution, and then we'll have to close all those permits out with a certificate of occupancy. But you will hear from me, but it could take up to a month because I have to wait for the chairman to sign the resolutions. I just got last month's back today, I understand, so. Just want to let you know that, and if I'm still here in 7 years, I'll be back in touch.
Hopefully.
Hopefully you will be, Denise.
Hopefully, I don't know. Harder and harder to get off the chair every day. Oh my goodness. Hold on, let me check my emails. What the heck happened to him? All right, sorry, we're just gonna have to wait a minute.
Can you give him a call, Denise, just to let him know that he's offline?
Here he comes. Oh, he knows. Yeah, he'll know.
Welcome back.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, somehow I dropped off. Okay, so I'm back. Okay. I assume we had no follow-up comments to the first application?
No.
We did not.
Okay. All right. So any further comments from the applicant or any board members at this point in time?
No.
I do not.
Okay. All right. So I think it's ready for us to vote then. Can I have a motion as to the type of action?
I'll make a motion type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Yes.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as to whether we're going to grant the special exception use permit?
I'll make a motion to grant the special exception use permit for another 7 years.
I'll second it.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Mr. Gallagher. Your special exception use permit has been granted for 7 years, and after that time, you'll have to come back and see us again if you'd like to renew it.
Okay, thank you, to everybody
Thank-
on the board. Job
Thank
well done.
you.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go to the second item on the agenda this evening. This is the application of Magdi and Kathy Mahmood. This is an application to renew a special exception use permit for an existing accessory apartment in a detached accessory cottage to an existing one-family dwelling in an R80 residential district at 17 Francis Drive, Katona. Is someone here to represent the applicant?
We're here.
We're here.
Okay, good evening.
Hi.
Could you briefly describe your application before us?
It's a cottage on the property, and we're just renewing the special use permit.
Okay. And has the building inspector, Tom, have you been out there to inspect the premises and it's still in accordance with the code?
Yes, I have, and it is.
Okay, excellent. And the building department hasn't received any complaints or other issues regarding this accessory apartment?
No,
Okay. And is the apartment currently occupied or will you be renting it out to someone?
It's actually vacant. It's been vacant for a while. Right now, I'm not sure if we're gonna leave it that way or possibly our daughter will be moving in.
Okay. Any other questions from any board members regarding this application?
You know, I do, may even apply to Tommy. Now, since it is a separate cottage, how does that apply to the septic tank and septic field? Does it have separate tanks and separate fields?
Yes,
Okay, yes to everything separate?
it's separate.
Okay, so then you realize that tank has to be pumped out every 5 years, and same thing with the main house.
Yes. Actually, we sent the bills, the
yes,
receipts.
I have the receipt.
Now, because I was just curious to make sure that they're aware that it's two separate things. and
Yeah.
they both have to be
Oh, we
pumped.
know, believe me. There's two of everything here.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any further questions from any board members? No? Okay, so we're going to open this up to the public. If anyone has any questions or want to make any comments, if we can put our numbers back up on the screen. Once again, this is a public meeting. Anyone can speak in regard to the application. You would simply call the numbers and then put in the Zoom meeting ID number and you'll come right on with us. Anybody currently on the call who wishes to speak in regard to this application? All right, so we'll just leave this up for a minute to see if anyone calls in.
I think the Pink Panther's calling in.
I get phone calls. I'm like, leave me
Pink
alone.
Panther's calling in.
Chairman, we don't have anybody trying to zoom in as of now.
Okay, so let's take down the numbers. Thank you. All right, so opportunity for any final questions or comments from the board? Does the applicant have anything additional you'd like to say at this point in time?
No,
No,
everything's
thank
fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, I think we're prepared to vote then. I'll take a motion as to the type of action.
I make a motion type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion whether we're going to grant the special exception use permit?
I move that we grant the special use permit for this property.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, your application has been granted for the next 7 years. And
Thank
after
you.
that time, you'll have to come and visit us again if you'd like to renew. Okay?
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a
good
nice
day.
night.
Have a nice evening.
Okay, we're going to go to the third item on the agenda this evening. This is the application of Rosalie Mignano. This is an application also for to renew a special exception use permit for an existing accessory apartment on the second floor of an attached accessory garage to an existing one-family dwelling in an R40 residential district at 8 Hilldale Avenue in Somers. Is someone here to represent the application tonight?
Yes, I'm here, Rosalie Mignano.
Okay. Good evening, ma'am.
Hi.
Could you briefly describe the apartment?
Yes, it's a detached 3-car garage, semi-attached to the main house by a breezeway. I'm sorry, 2-car garage. Semi-attached by a breezeway to the main house. It has an accessory apartment which my elderly parents live in.
Okay.
Dominic.
And Tom, have you been out to inspect the location and that the apartment is still in compliance with the code?
Yes, I have. And again, it is.
Okay, great. And once again, has the building department received any complaints from neighbors regarding this apartment? Any issues that we should know of?
No.
Okay. Any other questions from board members?
I'm good.
Because this apartment is, as Arnie had brought up, because this apartment is in an accessory building, does it have its own septic or is it connected to your main septic?
Everything is connected to the main septic system. It does have its own heating system, but it receives water and runs off septic of the main house.
Okay,
And power runs from my house into the apartment as well.
okay, okay. All right, I think we're going to take this out to the public and see if there's anyone who would like to comment in regard to this application. As indicated before, please use one of the numbers on the screen, call in, and then just put in the Zoom meeting ID number and you'll come on with us if you'd like to make any comments in regard to the application. Is anyone on the phone call with us now who would like to comment in regard to this application?
Victor, I do have a question to Tommy.
Sure.
Tommy, regarding the apartment over the garage, is it on more or less ground level where the garage is below grade? In case there is an issue where they have to escape through a window?
It has all the required egresses. The garage is partially below grade, the property sloping.
Okay, so it meets the necessary requirements if there's an emergency, someone can get out through a window.
Yeah, it's all code compliant. It was
All right, thank you.
this one. Oh, wait.
It's ground level.
It's ground level in the back and it's ground level in the front.
All right, thank you.
Chairman, I do not have anybody trying to get in to make a comment.
Okay, let's take down the phone numbers then. Okay, so this is a final opportunity for anyone, any board members, any further questions or comments in regard to this application?
None here.
No. Okay. Does the applicant have anything further to say at this point in time?
No, this is the second time I'm renewing, so no, I'm fine. I've been through it before.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. All right. So I think it's time to vote then on this application. Can we have a motion as to the type of action?
Type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye. Yeah,
Mr.
I'm
Hardin,
sorry,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion in regard to the application, whether we're going to approve or disapprove it?
I'll make a motion to approve the application for a special exception use permit for another 7 years.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Harding. Hardin, sorry.
That's all right.
I
Aye.
haven't done that ever. Sorry. You're good?
Yes, aye. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, ma'am. Your application has been granted and
Thank you.
it is for 7 years and you'll have to come back to us again if you would like to renew it at that time.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Thank you, Denise. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item number 4, that of John Pagoli. This is also an application to renew a special exception use permit for an existing accessory apartment in an attached accessory to an existing one-family dwelling in an R40 residential district at 8 Crane Road, Somers. Is someone here to represent the applicant?
Me.
Okay, hello.
There you go.
How are you, sir?
Doing okay.
Good, good. Can you briefly describe the apartment for us?
Just an accessory, I have my parents with me, so that's, I split my time between there, but it's pretty much my residence. So I stay on one side and they're with me. So I'm in, and they're elderly, 91. And so it's there, I take care of them. So kind of give my own space and they got their space, but I'm around. So, and this is the second time for me doing this. So second go around.
Okay, okay. And Building Inspector Tom Tuma, have you been out there to review the apartment?
Yes, I have. It's as originally approved.
Okay, great. And I assume the building department hasn't received any complaints from neighbors regarding this apartment?
No.
Okay, all right, that's good. Any further questions or comments from board members regarding this application at this time?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, why don't we take this to the public also? If anybody on the call now or on the Zoom meeting wants to comment, we'll hear you. And then we're also going to allow anyone to call in using the numbers on the screen and enter the meeting ID number as indicated. Okay, I think we're going to take the numbers down. Doesn't seem that anyone wants to comment in regard to this application. Any final questions or comments from board members?
I'm good.
Okay. Does the applicant have anything further to say at this point in time?
Nope, I'm good. See you
Okay.
next 7 years.
Okay, I think we're ready for a vote. Can we have a motion as to the type of action?
Motion type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion if we're going to grant the special exception use permit?
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of the special exception use permit for the accessory apartment at 8 Crane Road.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
and Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, congratulations, sir. Your application has been granted for the renewal of the special exception use permit for 7 years. And after that time, you'll have to come back to us if you'd like to renew it.
All right, thank you very much. We'll see
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. All right, so we're going to continue with the agenda. As indicated, item number 5 on the agenda has been removed due to the request of the applicant for the Heritage Hill Society. So that leads us to the last item on the agenda, the approval of the March 15th, 2022 minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, any comments, questions, or changes we have to make?
No.
No.
Just one quick question. Is that start time right? Did we start at 7:40?
Yes,
We did. We were late.
you were all, no, yeah, we started late. It happens maybe once a year, but yes, we did.
Okay, so I'm just going to approve by consensus. All in favor of approving the March 15th minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so let's consider the minutes for March 15, 2022 approved. I'll also make mention that our next meeting will be May 17th, 2022, which is the third Tuesday of May. So we'll see everybody at that time. Any further business or questions, issues that we have to discuss at this point in time before we adjourn the meeting?
Nope.
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Denise, we're going to have to, are all the meetings in town still virtual at this point in time?
All but the town board is hybrid and the planning board is in person only. All the other boards and committees are still virtual.
Okay.
And we can be, according to the governor, until sometime in June.
Okay. I know our June board meeting, we have a conflict, I guess, with the tax cert board. So,
Mhm.
that might dictate that we'll go virtual in June.
Yeah, we have to go virtual in June, or we have to move,
Yeah,
Paul and I,
Sorry.
yeah?
I chair the Board of Assessment. So I'll need to be at that one.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay. So I guess that lends the question, in May, how do the board members feel about doing virtual in May and June and then maybe going live in July? Is that maybe a plan?
It works for me.
Works for me.
All right.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
I won't
so
be here in
we'll-
July. I'll be gone the whole month.
Okay, so we'll have to consider,
Hybrid.
yeah, May and June will probably be virtual, and then we'll see where we go from there. So-
Yes, so we can offer hybrid because your board is taped. So, we always have that option to go back live in July. But the beauty of it is, I don't know where Paul's gonna be, but if Paul feels like signing on from wherever he is, which it was funny last year at one meeting, almost all of you were in a different place. I was the only one who was in New York. but that's an option. For example, if you wanted to call in from wherever you are, you could certainly do that. So I'll put us down for virtual May and June. And then in July, we'll go live/hybrid. And then, Bart, so you have the option, just so you go, your evening session is 6 to 8 with the Assessment Board of Review. And we do have, I want to say again, 3 or 4 accessory apartment renewals, and then we have another application. So at 8 o'clock, you're going to be in the room with Paul, our video guy. You can always join the meeting at 8 o'clock, and you and Paul could be there. You know, that's an option. That's an option you have, and you just sign in. You know, you come on a little late.
Yeah. Can I ask a question while we're? I was just looking at the meeting minutes, and I apologize for missing the last month. And it said that we consulted with the town attorney, and that he was of the opinion that commercial vehicles couldn't be parked on a residential property. And I'm wondering what part of the code that's from.
Yeah.
Did he give us any guidance on that?
Yeah, when I spoke with town council, you know, his opinion was that if it's not specifically allowed, it's prohibited. That was his position. So he said vehicles with commercial plates, you know, would have to be in a garage, but could not be out. I know that there was also a second issue there. I forget what it was right now. And Tom had a slightly different take on what town council said. So I think we may want to have a meeting with town council to further flesh out these 2 areas, at least what his opinion is. And then we have to decide whether we're going to follow that or not.
The other item, Vic, had to do with if, do all non-conforming properties have to come before the zoning board every time they want to do something that goes outside of the existing footprint. Am I correct on that, Tommy?
Yeah.
I think if their property preceded the code, you know, the actual formation.
Right.
Code. Yeah.
I'm going to struggle with if it's not written there, then it's prohibited. That's, you know, generally speaking, the law provides that you interpret it against the code if it's not there. It goes the other way. You know, and I asked this question because I drive a commercial vehicle. My truck has commercial plates. It's over a certain weight, and I live in a residential district. And it, you know, and then I have these minutes here. I'm going to struggle with that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you put your truck in the garage?
It can't fit in the garage.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
And my garage is filled with stuff anyways. No. So the answer is no. And it's very common throughout Somers that people have commercial vehicles. And I don't know if this is coming up from my neighbor who had a couple of vehicles parked at the back of his property. But I want to know where he's getting that. Because I certainly disagree with it.
Yeah. So,
You know, say in the town of Somers, there are commercial vehicles much bigger than a pickup truck. Okay, that's running, I want to say that is stored on, I believe, residential pieces of property. So it's going to open up a can of worms.
It's the same thing which has always been there. It's never been, it's never been enforced, but B, to say that if it's not specifically written in the code, it's prohibited, that opens up everything. You know, you can't have a flag, or you can't have a whirligig, or you can't have, you know, 4 dogs because it's not written in the code. It's an impossible interpretation, and you can take it to the extremes, you know. But what we're talking about is, you know, specifically, I drive an F-350 pickup truck, and because it's more than so many pounds, it has commercial plates. And I've always driven one. And frankly, it's not an uncommon vehicle. And this is not an uncommon thing. And that interpretation I have a problem with.
I think it would be a good idea to have town council come and speak with us in an executive session where we could discuss this, you know. And keep in mind, town council told me because my opinion is my opinion. The board can follow it or not, just because town council gives an opinion doesn't mean that we have to follow it. And sometimes we haven't in the past. So.
Okay.
Art, I just put an article in the chat here that is, that summarizes the zoning law, which talks about that general principle that if it's not expressly listed, then it's treated as prohibited unless there's a variance. So that might be, it's a practical legal guidance that might be helpful.
Yeah, but that
Happy to read it.
suggests then that the law is to be extremely detailed.
No, it's just
Probably.
talking about the zoning code, whatever. It's not talking about the law. It's talking about if your code doesn't say that something's allowed, then the general rule is it's not, and you need to ask for a variance. It's not talking about, it's only talking about each specific town code.
So we would ask for a variance for an F-350, keeping all other commercial vehicles out. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Bart would ask for his own specialized variance, asking for the ability to park a commercial vehicle on his property, because the variance is going to be specific to each person's property.
Each person, not vehicle.
Right, exactly. We couldn't make a general variance to benefit everyone. Anyone who was affected would make their own application for a variance.
Wow.
So I think you're talking about uses, right? I'm flipping through the article and it's talking about uses which are prohibited. So the use of my property is residential, and use is determined by the predominant use. The predominant use of my property is residential. It doesn't become a commercial use because there's one truck with a commercial plate in it. It wouldn't.
Right. No, at
So-
the bottom, it talks about variances.
Yeah, but so I don't need I don't need a use variance because I'm not using my property commercially. And I don't need a use variance to have a pickup truck there. Because it doesn't change my principal use. We still sleep and shower and use the kitchen. It's still a residence. So I'll read the article closer, but when you look at zoning, you look at the predominant use. You don't say, well, he cut his grass on Saturday and therefore that's a commercial use and therefore that's you need a variance to do that because it doesn't say you're allowed to cut your grass. But yeah, my only point was I saw it in the minutes and I was kind of confused and now that we're putting it in the minutes as our attorney's opinion, it might beg some questions. So I don't know what we do with it from here.
Yeah, we could ask to have an executive session with the zoning board and town council and discuss these matters further. It's always something we can arrange right before a zoning board meeting. So that's something that we can do if the board would like.
I think that would be a good idea. It sounds like Tommy also has a few clarifications with regard to the implementation of the new schedule. So we could wrap that all into an executive session, perhaps.
And my next question would be, would there be a grandfather clause in the sense of how people have been using it for, parking commercial vehicles? I mean, way beyond a pickup truck. I mean, I have seen, I want to say flatbeds 20 feet long that can hold 10,000 pounds of weight. Okay, so, where did that fall?
Grandfather means predating the code. So,
okay.
So,
but when it was so we're talking about the new code present then.
No, so to be grandfathered in, it has to go before there was a code at all. So we're talking about, Denise, I don't know what the date is, 1963 or something?
I thought it was 56.
56, yeah, whatever it is. That's a lot of, and the use has to be continuous. So that flatbed would have to sit there for 60
years. Yeah, that's one time.
But that's that.
Because I will say, I travel the main roads. I'm going to leave the streets out for the time being. And I have to say, houses got sold and the new owners are using it, in my opinion, it's not zoned commercial, and they are using it for commercial usage where there are flatbed trucks that can hold 10,000 pounds and they're, 20 feet long.
But-
And that would be a big taboo.
But so once again, we're back to the same question: is the predominant use? I mean, if they're sleeping and eating and having their family live in a house, and there's one truck parked there, I would argue that the one truck parked there is not the predominant use. The property is not predominantly used commercially. And then at that point in time, parking commercial vehicles is either excluded by the code or it's not. And that's the way most codes do it. If they have an issue with, and HOAs and other organizations, if they have an issue with something, they specifically exclude it. It's not excluded per se based upon use, because generally your use is what you do with the property. But we don't have a specific exclusion on commercial vehicles. And if that's something that the town wants to do, then that's something the town wants to do. But I specifically don't agree with the interpretation of council on this. And so I want to hear more about how he got to it. Because I don't think it goes that far, because you're not changing the whole use of the property by pulling in a vehicle which happens to be above a certain weight.
Maybe he just hasn't had a chance to think of that.
Yeah. I lost you. I was talking. Because like I said, the parcel I'm talking about, it's very obvious that it's just a lot more than just parking a big truck there.
Well, I don't know the property, but
well, that's why I'm leaving it out for the time being. So this way, not ruffling anybody's feathers for the time being until it gets cleared up.
And I don't know how the question was asked to the town attorney, which is why I brought it up, because I wasn't there. I just saw that in the minutes. And putting something like that in the minutes for me begs a lot of questions. You start to say that if it's not specifically there, it's outside the code. It doesn't tell us we can cut our trees. It doesn't tell us we can go do all sorts of things. But we do it because that's part of life in Somers.
So Denise, maybe what we should do is speak to Jerry Riley. Maybe we can have an executive session before next month's zoning board meeting.
Yeah,
Maybe we could meet at like 6:30 so we make sure we have enough time to discuss some of the new zoning issues. I think I'd like to have you and Tom there to hear these issues, and because I want to get Tommy's opinion on, exactly what was said to him by council, and let's flesh it out. Let's figure out, what town council's position is and what the board's position is.
okay,
but,
I'll reach out. I'll reach out to Jerry tomorrow.
All right. Does that sound good, everybody? Maybe we'd meet 6:30 right before.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sorry.
Who was just talking?
Oh, I was. I didn't mean to cut you off though.
I think you could go, Bart.
Okay. I was just going to say that the second part of his opinion, that you only have to get a variance if the proposed project enhances the nonconformity, I agree with. And that's kind of a change from what we've been doing. And that's what I see in most communities. And so that, for me, that's more of the standard. And I agree with that part of his opinion, but I don't agree with the top part of the opinion. But I'm only one voice on a board. So it'd be good to know what his thoughts are and how he came to those opinions.
Sure. Okay. One side note, Bart, that's kind of funny. Actually, the town code does limit the number of dogs you can have.
Okay.
We actually had a case before us many years ago.
We did.
Where someone had like a dozen dogs or something. And the code only allows a certain number. So dogs are actually covered in the zoning code.
But they were Chihuahuas, so probably 5 Chihuahuas. I mean, I have one sitting next to me. They're probably equal to one dog. Real dog,
A
as my
dog.
vet said, your dog's
Oh.
really not real, you know that. It's really not a dog.
You have to define a dog by weight and then it works properly.
Yes.
It's defined by age. An adult dog, 6 months or older.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, so, okay. All right, so anything further before we adjourn the meeting? No. Okay. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I think we're going to wrap it up from here. We'll see everybody next month on May 17th. And everyone have a good rest of your evening. Okay.
Thanks.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Aye.
Good night,
Bye.